y'all, it's Zoe and welcome back to another video on my channel. So this is actually the video I wanted to get posted last week, but things just got kind of busy and I wasn't able to post it. Also, my laundry is currently drying behind me, so please just ignore that. I wanted to make another little crash course slash informational video about all of the daily apps that I use in Taiwan, because I'm pretty much on my phone every single day using these apps. And for anyone that's coming to travel or for those getting ready to live here, I just thought I would share the apps that I have found helpful. So I'm going to categorize them based on what they're used for. So if there are certain aspects of social life that you want to see the apps for, then you can use the little like scroll thing down at the bottom. So let's get into this video. Okay, so the first part I want to talk about is transportation, because I use public transportation every single day. There's not a day that I don't use it. So the first app that I use all the time is Bus Plus or Taiwan Bus. So Bus Plus, it basically has the schedules of every single bus in Taiwan. You can look up bus numbers. Some counties have the same bus numbers, so it organizes it by county you're in. You're able to view the route that it takes. You're able to see where you are in comparison to the other stops, where the buses are. It shows you the license plates of the buses so you know what to look for. And it also is just really helpful. You can pin buses. So like this is what mine looks like right now. I have all of the stations that I use the most, and then it tells me how long until the next one is coming. When you're using this app, you want to make sure that you're looking at the right direction. So if you're going to Taipei or if you're coming back up here, make sure that you have the bus going in the right direction, or the timing will be off, the stops might be off, etc. Also, when you're looking at a map to decide where you're going to go, really make sure you're standing on the right side of the street. So that's Bus Plus, and Taiwan Bus is pretty much the same thing. Some people prefer one or the other. The next transportation app I use is Google Maps. It's technically also used for travel, but mostly for getting around. So I have always been an Apple Maps girly, but Apple Maps, some people might disagree with me on this, but I don't think Apple Maps is as accurate here. I think there have been some instances where maybe my friends who still use Apple Maps, they might show a quicker time to get somewhere, like a quicker ETA, but there are lots of things that aren't on Apple Maps that are on Google Maps. So I highly recommend, if you don't use Google Maps, you're going to be using it here. Because also Taiwan doesn't really use Apple Maps anyways, so it's just easier to use Google Maps. People will send you locations through Google Maps. You can also, what I didn't know, is pin things. So I have saved a bunch of locations that I like to go to on Google Maps, and it's been really helpful to be able to send things, or I'm just like, I want to go somewhere that I know, so let me look at what I've saved. Like, look at Taipei. It's like so crazy. And also with Google Maps, you can choose how you want to view the map, so you can view traffic, all that stuff. But the reason why I put it in transportation is because I pretty much use it to figure out the best way to get somewhere. Once you click on directions, it'll tell you how to get there using different types of transportation. And then you can also put filters on if you prefer a train or a bus, fewest transfers, quickest route. And you can also change the leaving and arriving time. If you want to see, I wonder how much it estimates it would take me if I left tomorrow at 9 a.m. You can change that in Google Maps. Maybe you can change that in Apple Maps too, but I've never really had to do that before, and I've just started using Google Maps since I got here. So Google Maps. Alright, the next is the Taipei Metro. So if you plan to come up to Taipei, you should get the Taipei Metro app. It has all of the stations listed, and it's just a pretty easy way to navigate. If you're at this stop and you need to go to this stop, what's the best way, especially if you're transferring lines. And again, make sure you are going the right direction. Luckily, the Taipei Metro, in my opinion, is very easy to understand. The stops are in English. The map is very helpful because it'll basically fade out the stops it came from, and it'll be solid for the stops it's going to, so you can easily tell which direction it's going if you're not really sure. And then if you're traveling long distances, I highly recommend getting the HSR and TRA apps. So the HSR stands for High Speed Rail, and it's basically the metro and a train mixed together. It's a super, super fast train that can go long distances. And the app is called T-EX. So I'll link pictures and all these apps down below. But you can check train schedules, you can book tickets, you can buy tickets all through this app. You can also buy them at a convenience store, fun fact, or at the station itself, but I like using the app because I can just do it right there. You can also reserve it on the app and then pay for it later at a convenience store as well, or you can pay for it on the app. And then for the TRA app, the name is all in Chinese, so I'm not even going to try to tell you what it's called, but the TRA is the regular train. That train goes all over Taiwan. It's just a little bit slower than the HSR, and the HSR is only on one coast of the country. So for the TRA app, it's the same thing. You can look up train schedules, book tickets, things like that. So if you're planning to travel while you're here, highly recommend using those apps. And then the last app is called 55688. It's literally just that, 55688. And it's the taxi app. So it's basically like Uber, but there are lots of counties where Uber is not available yet. For example, I just went to Chiayi this last weekend and they did not have Uber. So I had to use the 55688 app. It is all in Chinese and you pretty much have to put all your directions in Chinese, but sometimes you might luck out and get a driver that can speak English, or sometimes they'll just ask for where you're going, and I just pull it up on Google Maps, show them where I'm going, and they know where they're going. So highly recommend that. It's basically just helps you book taxis, reserve taxis. And then of course there's Uber, which if you already have Uber then you're fine. Just know that some places don't have it. The bigger cities, Kaohsiung, Tainan, and Taipei all have Uber, but smaller, more rural places like Hualien probably would not have Uber, so you would have to use the taxi app. Hey y'all, I know I'm in a different outfit, but that's because when I was editing this, I realized I forgot a few apps, so you're just gonna see me in a different outfit, I think twice in the video. Another transportation app that I forgot about is YouBike. YouBike is for bike rentals, so if you've ever been to Europe or China, they have bike rental apps. YouBike is Taiwan's version of that, and you can hook up your Metro card to the YouBike app, and then it'll just charge your Metro card. Okay, now continue on. Next is finance. These are just apps that I use when it comes to buying stuff. So first of all is my bank app, which is the Changhua Post Office Bank app. The company is a joint post office and bank, and this is our bank. And Fulbright might have you do different bank accounts, but this is the one that we use, and they have an app, and it's so nice to get, and some people don't know that it exists, but it just helps you keep track of your money. You can see how much you're spending, how much is left in your account, etc. It also has something called bank transfer. So bank transfer is basically like Zelle or Venmo, and you can just transfer money from one bank account to another bank account. So that's how I pay my landlady, just through bank transfer. So I use the app and I type in her account number and then I enter the money. And once you send someone money once, you can add that account to frequently used, give it a nickname. Mine is landlady. Then you don't have to type in their account number each time. You can just go to frequently used accounts and find her name. Also, if you don't know someone's account but you're right next to them, it pulls up a QR code and you can just scan the QR code in the app. It'll put in all the information you need and then you just type in how much you want to send, and it is so nice. It also sends you notifications every time someone sends you money or you spend money. So if you withdraw from an ATM, you use your card at a restaurant, it'll give you notification that the card was used, which is really nice, especially if you lose your card. Then the other app I use for finances is currency converters. When I first got here, I was converting everything to USD. But now that I've been here, I tend to do it a little bit faster. But there are some things where I'm just a little bit curious, like, oh, I wonder what this would cost in USD. And additionally, there are some things where some people might pay in USD, some people might pay in NTD. And so it's just nice to know what that conversion is. And also over winter break when I was traveling, I used currency converters all the time, whether it's Taiwan to another country or that country to the US, I always use currency converters. Highly recommend. Okay, next is social. So the biggest messaging app they use here is Line. If you know like Kakao Talk or WhatsApp or WeChat, Taiwan's version is Line. And especially for Fulbrighters, your coordinators will only use Line to coordinate with to talk with you. You can do voice call, video call, send messages, send photos, send videos, send polls, all that kind of stuff. So you should download Line now. I would recommend associating your account with an email address, just because if you associate it with a phone number and you don't have access to that phone number abroad, you might have to make a new account. If you make a new account, you're gonna lose all your contacts that you had online before, and if you somehow get back into your old account, all the contacts you made using this new Line account will go away. Also, you can only be logged on to Line with one device at a time. So if you have two phones, which some people do, you can only use Line on one of them. However, you can use it on your phone and your computer, but you can't have it on more than one phone. And the other app I use is Find My. It just comes with an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, you can use Life 360, or even Google Maps has location sharing. But I just like using this because me and my friends like to share our locations with each other in case we get lost, or if we're trying to meet up, or, you know, worst comes to worst, we get kidnapped, which I don't think would ever happen. But I've just been using Find My since I was in college, and it's just been really nice. I highly recommend downloading Pleco. Pleco is the Chinese dictionary app, and it is so nice. You can use Google Translate. I use Google Translate as well because you can take pictures and it'll translate a picture. Sometimes they'll translate messages, but with Pleco you can look up specific words. It'll show you all the different variations. It'll show you simplified and traditional Chinese. It'll also show Juyin, which is the Taiwanese alphabet. So if you need to show someone something, they can see the Taiwanese alphabet, and that might make it easier. Then we have the travel apps. So I mentioned before all the transportation apps that you will be using, but if you're curious to know, what am I going to do when I get there? Where am I going to stay? These are the apps that I would use. So the first is Klook. Klook does have a website, but sometimes the website shows up in Taiwan, or like in Chinese, and you want it to be in English. So you make sure you have to do like klook.en or something. But I also just use the app. So Klook has a bunch of passes that you can just buy. So whenever I travel, I tend to check on Klook, like, do they have boat tickets? Do they have rentals? Sometimes they'll have tickets to seeing attractions like amusement parks, museums, all that kind of stuff you can get on Klook. They'll have bus tickets. It's such a great app. Then in terms of where to stay, I tend to use booking.com and Airbnb. So booking.com has hotels, but it also has hostels. You can also use the website, but I would also download the app, because if you book something on booking.com, it'll be a lot easier to access your reservation through the app. And same with Airbnb. If you have a reservation, it's a lot easier to access through the app. Okay, and then finally my miscellaneous apps. The first one is Taiwan Weather. I tend to use either the Weather Channel app or the weather app that's like pre-installed in the iPhone. But with Taiwan Weather, you're able to get weather announcements. So when the earthquake happened, I was able to see where it was, the magnitude, and all the aftershocks that came with it. It'll also give you like rain advisory, heat advisory, all that stuff. You can also download the Taiwan Plus or Taiwan News apps. If you're curious to know what's going on in the country, those might be nice apps to use. And then if you like doing food delivery, I recommend Food Panda and Uber Eats. Just so you know, some places don't have that, like where I live, I don't have that. But if you're in a bigger city type, definitely recommend Food Panda and Uber Eats. Alright, so those are all of the apps that I pretty much use on an everyday basis. If you have lived in Taiwan and you use other apps, I'd love to hear them in the comments down below. And that's pretty much it for this video. So I am planning to make more videos throughout the summer as we get closer and closer. I'm trying to do it chronologically to when you would be starting your grant. So all the orientation videos will come in August. The packing videos will probably come sometime in June or July, etc. And it's crazy to think it's June already. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and next week I'll be posting my Jiayi vlog, travel vlog, which I'm really excited about. So I'll see you all then. Bye!